when we were getting breakfast.
Oh, lame.
Yeah.
Or when you're driving. So
That's on us.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ours.
So right now I think some.
Yeah, not you guys.
Try
You
that.
guys.
Oh,
You guys
So
no. It was us. 100%.
can anybody verify if the audio is coming through?
Me, it says, yay!
Okay. Yay, now we have sound. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I was saying is I was super excited because I thought I was doing today's live event all by myself up until about 30 minutes ago.
Surprise!
And my surprise co-host Tiffany walked in the door. So I'm super excited.
Yes.
If you don't already know who Tiffany is, I mean, if you've been to the office, you know who Tiffany is, but you were on a live event with me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, like a month.
A month ago.
Yeah,
We had a great
ago.
event.
Yeah.
And I'm Dr. Emett. We are in Las Vegas at All Out Dental, and we are a 3-on-6 office.
Yes. Only
So,
3-on-6 office.
Only 3-on-6. That's all we do. And so we do these live events every other week, and we kind of come to it with an idea of what we want to talk about. So we have some stuff to talk about today. We have lots of questions that people have submitted that we're going to answer. And then equally as important is, as somebody is attending the live event, if you have a question, you should ask it, because we do our best to address all the questions during the live event. So we have people in the room that are monitoring Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and they'll help get your questions over
And
to
it
us.
kind of makes it look like it's just the two of us. There's like a whole team.
Yeah, I should turn
behind
it
the
around.
computer.
There's a lot of people in
There's
here.
a lot of people.
There's a guy with a big
this.
light and a headset on, and
Yeah.
he's back there checking on all the stuff. So
Making sure you can hear us.
yeah, there's so let's just have a quick update about life stuff real quick, because I have a big thing happening in my life next week.
And I had a big thing happen last week.
Okay, what was you go first?
I moved out of an apartment into a house.
It was so much work.
It was so much work, and I'm not done.
You're
There's
not
still literally, I walked into my closet this morning and there's like 8 boxes, and I'm like, I haven't needed it for 2 weeks. Do I need it now?
Throw it
Like,
away at this point.
Yeah. All my scrubs are unpacked, and that's it.
That's the important
Yeah,
stuff, as long as you have your
it's
scrubs.
Pretty crazy.
And in my life, my youngest son is getting married
Mhm.
next weekend in Utah. So
You
there's
have a speech to write.
not a speech, a toast.
A toast to
I
write.
actually, I've been working on it, and I'm going to be funny. I'm going to try.
There you go. I
I'll
like
probably
it.
bomb, but I'm sure going to give it a
You
try.
gave a really nice toast at my wedding, and it was funny, and
Okay,
it was all
well,
the things.
Thanks. So yeah, I've got that
Made people cry.
to work on and to look forward to coming up. So
Yeah.
anyway, let's get right to it. What's up, David Hunter?
What's up?
What's up? I don't know. Okay, so we are live across all the platforms, and today's topic that I just wanted to talk about is how much does this cost and how do patients pay?
Yeah.
And this is a little taboo. I've actually been kind of worried about bringing this up because we have patients that are across the country.
Mhm.
We have our own patients across the country, and there's like almost 50 providers across the country. So I'm just going to keep reminding everybody about this, but I'm going to say it right now. This is variable. I think it's important to talk about that prices can vary region by region. We'll talk about one of the big reasons for that today. But you got to remember that almost every 3-on-6 provider is in a private office. They are a private office running their own thing. They just have been now licensed and certified to offer the 3-on-6 procedures. So their prices for this thing might vary.
Sure.
But I think there's, patients will sometimes try to price shop 3-on-6 providers against each other. We see that occasionally, and they almost always come back and say, yeah, it was the same. And we'll see people talking about it on Facebook. Yeah, it was the same. So I'm just going to lead with the spoiler alert right out of the gate, so there's no surprises. But the number we're going to use today when we talk about how much this costs, we're going to talk about it being $50,000. But as soon as I say that, somebody will be like, I paid more than that. Why? Or I paid less than that.
Right.
Yeah, I know. And some people are going to pay a little bit less than that, and some people are going to pay a little bit more than that. But I'm going to make a good argument for why that's a good number to use as a foundation. And then I'm sure I might come under fire from somebody, but we're going to talk about it. So if you have a question,
It won't be the first or the
yeah,
last
it won't be the
time.
first.
It'll
Or
be all
last.
right. It'll be all
Okay,
right.
so first thing on my notes.
This is
No,
your
that's
first
not my
page.
first thing.
It's on the
Is
back
it my
of that
first page here?
Yeah, I
Oh
took
my
I took
gosh,
care of
first
the
page.
pages. That's my bad.
Okay, so we're going to be totally transparent about price and how people pay, and we're going to talk about every aspect of that. And I'm not allowed to touch my pencil. They're taking it from me. Okay, so why is it difficult to get a straight answer? Like, why doesn't every 3-on-6 office just advertise that this is the price? I'm going to bring up one thing, then I'm going to have your thoughts on that. Okay. So I'll tell you the biggest differentiating thing on price is sedation.
Absolutely.
So we're going to spend some time today really looking into sedation. But I am going to tell you right from the get-go that the lowest price that a 3-on-6 provider will even do an arch is $23,000 per arch.
Right.
So if you just times that by 2 and all of a sudden you're at $46,000 pretty quick. And that does not include sedation.
Right.
So we have to talk about sedation. And then I think, David, you're definitely right. You're getting ahead.
David's on the money with his comments.
Yeah. That every patient is different. Every patient needs different things and different approaches. There's different types of implants. I'm not talking about the implant brand, but I'm talking about a pterygoid implant versus just a standard implant, just a traditional placed implant.
Yeah.
And all of these things come with different costs. So even if I'm in the same office with the same sedation provider, in my office, patients have different pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why it's so difficult for us just to say, hey, it's X amount of dollars. Now, they relatively come out to be very similar in pricing most of the time, but we have patients in our practice that have different prices.
Yeah,
but they need
a little bit
different things.
Yep.
So that's why it's so important that you've got to go in and just get a consultation from a provider, because then you'll know for sure. Like I always tell patients, I will not let you leave this office today without knowing exactly how much your treatment plan will cost.
Yeah.
But the only way to do that, I've got to take your x-ray. I need to look in your mouth because everybody's body is a little bit different. So I want to talk about sedation.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to that very next.
Can you state the question into like the thing and then talk about it?
Yes. Okay. So
proper interview etiquette.
Proper
where
interview
you
etiquette.
Repeat the question.
So we
Yeah.
are going to now talk about sedation as part of the 3-on-6 procedure and why that factors into the financial component of 3-on-6.
Yep.
So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
How many hours is our average sedation per 3-on-6 case?
For just our average straight across? 7 hours.
7 hours.
Yep. I frequently bill 7 hours worth of sedation.
Okay.
It varies, but 7 hours is
That's a pretty good average number.
Standard. Yeah.
I am going to tell you that we're pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when I went through this, I thought, it'd be safe to say that the average is about 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an important thing to consider with sedation time. First off, it gets billed in 15-minute increments.
Right.
So it's not like you just get an hour and then you're sedated for an hour. It's literally billed in 15-minute increments.
Yeah.
And when we say billed, we mean billed to us from the sedation provider.
Well, and what's funny is that 7 minutes into 15 counts as 15.
Yeah.
Like we didn't make up the rules, just for the record.
That's a good point.
That's just the standard way sedation is billed.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about how long does surgery take, there's 2 important things here. My surgical time, like literally working on a patient and ending working on the patient, is not the total sedation time.
No, that's closer to 6 hours. The actual procedure time, your average procedure time is closer to 6 hours.
So what's the other hour, Tiffany?
Well, putting you to sleep and waking you back up. Our sedation provider can have you fully asleep in 15 minutes. It's not usually.
Okay.
However, every patient wakes up a little different. Our most recent case, bro jumped out of the chair ready to go home 10 minutes after we were done. He was like, is my wife here? It's like,
we finished and he was finished.
Yeah. But the week before that patient took almost 2 solid hours of just, it was almost like she was Dory from Finding Nemo, just kind of kept repeating. And am I done? Yeah, you're done. Did it go great? Yeah, it went great. Can I see my teeth? Yeah, here they are. 30 seconds later, are we done? And it was like,
that's true.
Yeah. So shout out to Amelia for making sure that she always keeps our patients happy and safe during their recovery. She has lots of patience for that.
Yeah. But there's a part of that time where the sedation provider is still in the room and taking care of the patient.
Yep.
And so that gets added on. So even if a provider can go in and do a 6 or 7 hour surgery, that doesn't mean that's how long your sedation is going to take. And that's another reason why it's so variable. So we're just going to go to the next logical question, which is how much does sedation cost per hour?
Right.
I'm not sure that every office is going to love that we're just talking about this, because I think There's so much variability. So let me just caveat this again. Region by region, it is dramatically
Massively
different.
Yeah, massively different.
I know a provider right now that does 3-on-6, and it costs that office $1,050 per hour for sedation.
Right.
That's expensive. We pay $550 per hour for sedation. We don't make, like, I'm not trying to make money on sedation. Like, that's how much it
Just
costs.
what we pay the provider.
What we pay the provider. That's in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we do a lot of sedation. That's a really good deal.
Well, plus medications and the parts and pieces that you don't
Yeah.
read, that you have to throw away at the end of each case.
There's a lot of consumables that go
Yeah.
into sedation
Yep.
that are expensive, and the medications are
medications
expensive.
and- right.
Now, I know that there's some offices that have their price for sedation a little bit lower. The lowest I've ever heard of, just so you know, is $450 per hour.
Right.
That's the lowest I've ever heard of. So if somebody needed 8 hours of sedation in that office versus my office, and if they were paying for their own sedation, that's $100 an hour. If they needed 8 hours, that could potentially be $800 less.
Right.
But it's a risky proposition for a provider because, yeah, it might be 6 or 7 hours, but what happens when it's 9 or 10? So at our office, how do we help insulate the patient from this added expense?
We do our all-inclusive.
It's all inclusive.
Yeah, it's all inclusive,
Mm.
which I think frequently will have patients that are doing more of the price shopping type discovery calls,
Yeah.
call back and say, oh, you guys include sedation. And it's like, we do include sedation. Well, no one else does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
So
know.
at our office, we just include sedation in the price. I'm gonna.
David's comment just now, the diaper I was asked to wear was the scariest part for me. You're not alone in that. That's the best comment
That's
I've ever
hilarious.
seen.
I'm gonna address
I love
Jennifer
it.
Montgomery's question too,
Yeah.
because I don't want to skip over that.
Yeah.
So back just real quick on the pricing. So at our office, and not all offices do this, by the way,
Right.
but our office, it's a all-inclusive price. So we're anticipating that your sedation will take about 7 hours.
Mhm.
That's what we've budgeted for.
Yeah.
But guys, full disclosure, we had one take almost 10 hours recently.
Yeah.
Couple
weeks ago.
Did we bill the patient?
No.
We didn't. That was an internal expense. So we insulated the patient against this added expense by just including it all as a flat fee. So keep that in mind when you're price shopping around for this stuff. Make sure that you really have the question about sedation. Now, Jennifer Montgomery, I want to talk to you specifically about sedation is the scariest part for me. Have you ever heard that, Tiffany?
Oh, every day.
Every day. Why? Why do you think?
A lot of patients haven't had surgery before. And so it's kind of a scary thought that they're going to come to a dental office and be put all the way to sleep. And it's scary. Me personally, I've had tons and tons and tons of surgeries.
Yeah, you have.
And it's like, I go to sedation of sure, I'll do sedation right now. Like, it's great. I haven't eaten anything. Let's go. But yeah, I hear that every single day that sedation is just so scary. But I think what's nice about doing it on the dental side, especially with our anesthesiologists and our CRNAs, they give you such little medication at the very beginning just to kind of test and see where you're at. And if you're not handling it well, Dr. Emett will always say, this is an elective procedure. We just wake you up and we bring you back on a different day. If it's not your day today, okay, it'll be your day on a different day.
And full disclosure, that's happened
Yeah, it's
once.
happened once at our office.
In
yeah.
my office, that happened.
Yep.
We went to.
And now she's in her finals and
Yeah,
loving
she's
life.
had an amazing
So,
surgery and
yeah,
everything's
it's all
great. But I have had one time in all these years where a patient, we were sedating them and we were watching their vitals and went, that's an interesting thing we just saw on their
Yeah.
heart. And we just said, well, today's not their day. And we sent them out and got their heart checked and we put them to sleep a few weeks later and everything's totally fine. But it's really a safe environment to be sedated. And one of the reasons that the sedation professionals love to do it in the dental office, A, this is not an emergency.
Right.
It's not like we're rushing you back for emergency surgery. B, it's such a light stimulation of type of surgery and we get you numb. So I get you numb in your mouth, just like you're wide awake and you're nice and asleep. So we don't have to use a lot of sedation drugs to keep you really, really comfortable. For us, the big advantage is a secured airway.
Right.
I don't want a protected airway. I don't want a piece of gauze in the back of your throat. I want a secured airway. And that way the patient's totally safe during the entire surgery and we can work much quicker as a sedation team or as a surgical team to keep your sedation time as minimal as possible.
Well, we had a patient 2 weeks ago come in and say that the thing that she's most worried about is being intubated for surgery.
Oh, that's
And I
true.
said, and she goes, because not everyone does intubation. And I said, right, you should be scared that they don't.
Yeah, I will not do this surgery on a non-intubated patient.
I told her, I literally said, I've never, knock on wood somewhere, I've never dropped anything in a patient's mouth. But man, during surgery, I'm really glad that that airway is totally secured off and we don't have to worry about if something was to get dropped. And she was like, oh,
yeah,
that's a really good way of looking at it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't do
So
it without
anyway, Jennifer Montgomery, it is a very safe environment to be sedated. The sedation providers love to do this in a dental office. It's so low stress. It's just a nice, easy environment. And they use such little amounts of their sedations medications. So you've never had any complications. You just always worry they'll give you too much. You know, as a non-healthcare involved person, I would probably feel the same way. Being on this side of it and getting to be in the room and just seeing how much energy and effort goes into giving you a smidge of medication and watching your vitals and keeping you safe and comfortable the whole time, I can tell you that I would have zero reservation about me or a loved family member being sedated in a dental setting this way. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
No,
so
for sure.
Anyway, good question. I'm glad we could talk about that. So we talked about the hours of sedation. So if we just use basic math and we say that the average, I'm kind of just trying to come up with, like, we're going into financing here. So the average would be about $700 per hour for sedation.
Yeah.
I don't have like some research study to verify that. All I can tell you is I took the highest I know and the lowest I know, and I added the two
Averaged it
together,
out.
and
I
it's
see a lot of people on the 3 on 6 page say anywhere from like $600 to $1,200.
Yeah.
Or depending on your region.
so what somebody just said in the room was they've seen on the 3 on 6 page that patients say anywhere from $600 to $1,200 per hour for sedation. So if you take that and the cost of the 3 on 6 procedure, you add it all together, you're just about $52,000. That's why for our conversation today, we're going to use the number $50,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it might be a little bit higher than that. It might be a little bit lower than that. And this is not including things that could add cost really quickly. Bilateral sinus lifts.
Yeah. Pterygoid implants.
Pterygoid implants,
Yeah.
zygomatic implants.
Lower bone augmentation.
Yep. Ridge augmentations, all kinds of other things that could dramatically change your price. So we kind of been over that already. Okay. So we're going to use $50,000 as our number.
David says Dr. Roberts had a patient after him that he couldn't sedate. I can't imagine that. Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah. No thanks.
We don't do this surgery without sedation. Okay. Inclusive price. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how that can be risky for the provider because, so we talked about that having a flat price for sedation can be a risk proposition for a provider, because if sedation or recovery time for sedation goes longer than anticipated, we don't turn around and bill the patient. We're just absorbing that cost.
Right.
And trust me, the anesthesiologists and CRNAs are not absorbing the cost either.
No.
They're getting paid. They are passing that expense directly.
We kind of make a joke at our office where if the case is taking a little bit longer than in the back of our minds it should, we'll be like, Mark's over there promising $20 bills to people to slow this down. Like,
trying to slow Dr. Emett down.
Yeah, kind of make that joke. Oh, he just paid that tooth $20 to be a difficult extraction.
Yeah, I'll be working on a difficult tooth. I'm like, man, that took a little long. And the CRNA just smiling. They don't care how long it takes. They want it to take longer.
Yep.
David, listen, I want to just call out David Hunter here real quick for something. Hey, thanks for being so active, but
I love it.
Thanks for sharing your price. I think that's a testament to exactly what we're talking about. He paid $48,000 for top and bottom, plus $3,800 for sedation.
$8,000 for sedation.
Listen, I think that's extremely great investment. I think that's a great value, and I think that's right where it's supposed to be. And so I think it's fun to have actual patients willing to share what they paid and talk about it. So thanks for doing that. Okay, we've talked about adding sedation. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how much money it costs to get started in our office.
I'm saying our office. I know other offices do similar things to this. but specific to All Out Dental in Las Vegas, Dr. Emmett's office.
So what do we require to start the surgery?
Yeah, $15,000 per arch down. So full mouth would be $30,000. And it doesn't matter if you finance that $30,000. Doesn't matter if you bring in a briefcase full of money. Dr. Emett would like a briefcase full of money. But
Daisy doesn't like that.
Please don't bring change. Daisy hates counting that. But yeah, it doesn't matter how you pay that $30,000. It's $30,000 for full mouth down.
But there's a huge caveat with that. When is the balance due?
At your healing check appointment, which is 3 to 4 months.
So this is really great for patients that have financial resources available.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take some money out of savings. Maybe they're going to use some credit cards. They've saved up some, but not quite the full 50, and they want to get started. But there's a big payment coming due in just 3 to 4 months. So that doesn't work for everybody.
It's less than 30.
I know, but that's a
it's
lot.
a lot of times it's like 19-ish that they owe.
That's true.
Yeah.
So that's one option. So the minimal amount to get started, $15,000 per arch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the balance is due at 3 to 4 months.
Yes.
All right. And just guessing, how many of our patients do something like that?
A lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. The way we came up with this is that we had a lot of patients saying, I've saved up X amount. And that X amount was about 30,000. And the first patient that we ever did that with, I said, you've saved this up. Do you want to finance the rest? He goes, oh no, I'll have the rest in just a few months. So as we talked about it as a team, we're like, you know what? 30,000 covers the initial expense and gets them
lab fees, surgery fees, sedation.
And gets them teeth, and they can go out and start living life. Because some patients were waiting and coming in, calling in with pain. And when we implemented that in our office, I think it changed a lot for a lot of our patients. So I don't know a percentage, but probably
a lot of people do.
Yeah, a lot of people do the chunk up front.
So it's an option. It can be helpful.
Yes.
Tony Bauer.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to answer this question. I just read about implants or something little all on 6 with no actual implants. Is this something real? It sound not true. I don't know. I don't understand your question.
It's an all on 6 without implants.
Though, yeah,
that's a denture.
That's a denture.
I was like, wait, that's a denture. You don't have implants. It's just a denture.
Yeah, rephrase it maybe, or I'm happy to come back to your question, Tony, but rephrase that for me so I understand it, because all on 6 implies 6 implants. So there's implants, no matter what. There's implants involved. There's implants involved in fixed prosthetic dentistry. Mm-hmm. Snap and denture, implants.
Right.
3 on 6, implants. All on X, implants.
Yeah.
Full mouth rehab that's fixed and doesn't come out at night, you have implants.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So how much money to get started? We covered that.
Yes.
Next. Insurance. Guys, you're going to hate my answer, but I'm going to give you the real answer. I see so many patients on 3 on 6 confused about this and even providing bad information back and forth to each other. I try to go in and respond, but literally I'll spend 10 minutes writing this great explanation, and I'll put it onto somebody's chat. And then tomorrow the exact same question gets asked again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't have the bandwidth to keep replying with the same thing. So we are going to talk right now about insurance and what it does and doesn't cover for a 3 on 6 procedure. And luckily we have Tiffany here today, who did insurance coordinating for a long time.
I did that for a long time.
So her perspective is
You're not going to like my answer either, just for the record.
Okay. Does insurance cover 3 on 6?
That's a loaded question. Insurance may cover parts of 3 on 6.
What parts?
Extractions.
Okay.
Some really great insurances will cover an implant, maybe 2. They may cover your final bridges, but most insurance companies have a $1,500 to $2,500 max.
Max per event or max
per year?
Ouch.
Yes. So I think the biggest misconception is patients go, oh yeah, I'll pay $2,500 and then my insurance covers the rest. That's medical insurance. This is not medical insurance. This is dental insurance. It's basically, I tell patients, you have a coupon. That's all you have. You have a $1,500 coupon, and then it's gone. So Yeah, we don't even take insurance at our office. We provide a master bill at the end. So the day after your surgery, when you come in, I'll have everything ready to hand you, and you can submit it to your insurance, because it's a racket for the office to chase your insurance and get them to pay. It's well, we're a small office. You're seeing half the staff right now, so there's only 2 other people. So dental insurance it's a scam, in my opinion. If you're paying for dental insurance and you just need cleanings, just pay for your cleanings. If you need root canals, most insurance companies don't cover those anyway. And as far as this type of surgery, I've had patients say, "Oh no, they'll cover it." They don't. They just don't.
The most we've ever heard of an insurance company covering was a 3-on-6 patient on the Facebook page that said $3,500.
Yeah.
And they just had some crazy, and one person's like, "Oh, I have 3 insurances." And I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
That's very unique. Not everybody's going to have 3 separate dental insurance companies, but
Right.
let's say you have 3 separate dental insurance companies. You've been paying for that every month, and each one has a maximum payout per year of $2,000. They won't cover something that somebody else covered.
Right.
So now if you have $6,000 worth of billable stuff that they are willing to cover that was not covered by another insurance company, you may be entitled to up to $6,000. That's such a unique case. But the most I've ever heard of is a patient said they got reimbursed $3,500 from an insurance company.
When a patient has 3 insurances, I promise that 3rd insurance company has something written into their policy where they don't cover whatever else 2 other insurance companies have had. We had that way back when we took insurance. We had that happen all the time.
Insurance companies are scoundrels, and I hope they're watching. I hope every insurance company on the planet is watching my live right now.
We're watching you, Delta Dental.
You guys are
United Healthcare.
United Healthcare.
I'm not going to call you out by name, but I'm going to say you guys are
I built you.
rotten, cheating scoundrels and thieves.
And you have coupons.
And your CEOs are making $50 million a year, and your patients have toothaches.
Yeah.
I hate you guys. Okay, got it out off my chest.
See,
Okay, David Hunter. I received $2,000 from my insurance company.
And it was a hassle to get it.
And it was a fight. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's why I say to patients, listen, that relationship is between you and your coupon provider.
Your coupon provider, not your insurance.
You can keep fighting with them as long as you want, but when we get involved, it's a nightmare for us. We'll spend hours and hours on the phone resubmitting documents and doing all this stuff. And at the end, they're like, "Oh, we're not going to cover any of that anyway."
Yeah, and at the end, they go, "Here's $500."
Yeah, it's so
Cool.
bad. Okay,
Thanks.
so unfortunately, insurance is crummy.
Coupons.
They just don't cover anything,
Yeah.
or they don't cover merely enough to make it matter for a 3-on-6 procedure. Because again, we're using the number $50,000. It's a drop in the bucket.
Right.
When one of these companies is like, "Oh, we'll pay up to $2,500," okay, that didn't really make that big a difference.
We had a patient who was just set on billing her insurance. And I literally said to her, "What if I just give you a $1,500 discount and you forget you have insurance?"
And you forget you have
And
it.
she went, "Oh, okay." Because I was like, it's going to be a bigger pain in everyone's booty than you even realize.
Every dime you can get out of them, you should go get it. So good job, David, getting your $2,000.
Cancel your policies.
Okay, so insurance, we've talked about that. We're not going to
Yes.
pick on them anymore. Financing.
So we don't want them to call us.
I don't know. They can call me. Call CEO of one of your big companies. Call me right now. I would love to talk to you about it. Okay, financing.
Yes.
So, what percentage, guessing, of our patients finance some or all of their procedure?
Oh, most of them do.
A lot. 70%.
Probably 70 or even higher.
We have patients that come in and write checks for it all the time.
Yeah.
Literally, they're just like, "Oh, it's how much dollars? How whatever I'll pay for
Or
it."
they pull from their 401k or whatever it is.
Well, we're going to get to that later.
Oh,
We're talking about
sorry.
just financing. Okay, financing.
Financing.
So a very large percentage of patients are financing all
Right.
or some of this procedure. Let's talk about the bad things with financing. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about financing?
Your credit score.
Okay. So getting approved can be a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So getting approved in the first place can be hard to do.
Yeah.
What is the average credit score of somebody who is financing all or part of this procedure?
For people that are financing the full amount, they've got a credit score in the 700s, mid 700s or above. We've had a couple in the 800s, and I was like, good for you. Most of our patients who are financing that 30,000 that we talked about, they have a credit score in the high 600s.
Okay.
But credit score is a small part of what a finance company actually looks at.
And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things I ever heard about financing in dentistry was, why isn't it easy to get? This like your health.
Yeah.
But you think about a car loan, I think most people are capable of getting a car loan. You might have to have a higher interest rate, but if you don't make your payment, the bank can come get your car.
Right.
The bank is really finding it challenging to repossess your teeth.
Yeah, I had this conversation on the phone with a patient on Wednesday
Okay.
that is in the middle of trying to figure out. She's gotten approved for financing, just didn't love rates on different things, and she goes, "I don't know why my bank wouldn't just finance this." And I said, "Because they can't repossess your teeth if you stop making a payment."
Right.
And she goes, "Oh." I said, "If you stop making a payment on your house, they foreclose on your house, take your house. Same with your car. They come pick up your car. They can't show up to your job and say, 'All right, I need your teeth back.'"
Right. It's just not going to happen.
The day that happens, though, I want to be a fly on the wall.
So by default, all these companies that are willing to lend for dental procedures, it's already considered a little bit of a higher risk.
Right.
The higher the risk, the more difficult it is to get approved, and also the higher the interest rate.
Yes.
So I think the best rate we ever see for a patient to finance a full $50,000 treatment, what's the best rate we have right now through Proceed?
So Proceed, the lowest rate that I've seen was their 3.99%, but that was only on 24 months. If you want to go out to 144 months, which is the longest term they offer, which is 12 years, that averages about 16%, 15.99.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it lower for those 800 score individuals. But, and then there's, everything in between that as well. So
it's ranging anywhere from 4 or 5% on the lowest to 16, 17, 18, 19. We've seen them even higher than that.
Yeah, the one that we had approved the other day, she's getting ready to book everything. She was 21.99%, which is why she's wanting to kind of look into some other options.
Yeah. So if you think about that, is that rate high? Yeah, it's high. I'm not going to act like it isn't. But the interesting thing is, if you just look at it dollar for dollar, it's really not that much more per month to have the higher rate.
Yeah.
And to have a company take a pretty big risk that you're going to make your payments.
Well, and there's every single company that we work with, none of them have a prepayment penalty. So you can start paying it off a little bit quicker. That's why I'll frequently tell patients, hey, find the payment that's most comfy, but then goes one step more comfy, if that makes sense, and then just make bigger payments. And then you're saving on that interest.
Then you have some more flexibility with it.
Yeah.
But patients will say, oh, I could pay this off within just a year or two. I can make a much higher monthly payment, but the rate is high. At that point, the rate doesn't matter. You do the math on it. The total interest you pay, if you pay this off early, is relatively low. So it's worth looking into these options for people.
Right.
And there's, I'm glad you brought up the no prepayment penalty. Okay. So
you already said we've had patients come in and write a check for it and different things, but most patients, that's not an option for them. I don't have $50,000 in my bank account. If I needed this procedure, I would need to
be financing somewhere.
I'd be financing.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the finance companies that we work with that we know will cover the full 50,000. Then we're going to step down and start talking about the ones that cover parts of that. So what companies cover the full 50,000 that we work with?
So Proceed will go up to 75,000. Interestingly, Cherry approved someone in our office this week for 50,000, which up until this week, they had been approving 30. 35. So yeah, I was very,
big step.
I was pleasantly surprised by that. Lending Club is a brand new one that we just brought on, and I don't know what Daisy might know. Do you know what Lending Club's
maximum is?
Max loan is?
I think it's
I think it's
I think
50.
it's a little more than 50.
But
I
they
know
do 50.
But they do
qualify
50.
They do
for
50.
the amount that you need.
Yeah, so Proceed, Cherry, and Lending Club in our office have been the ones that will do the full amount.
What about HFD?
HFD does about 35, 30
Okay.
to 30 to 35.
So that's another bank we work with is HFD.
Mhm.
So they're a little bit less than 50, but they cover a bunch.
Mhm.
Who's after HFD? What other options do we have?
Care Credit.
Care Credit.
Yeah, Care Credit. And the most we've ever run Care Credit for was 20,000.
Okay.
So
So a lot of patients have Care Credit, and of course, I think most 306 providers accept Care Credit.
Yeah.
So the advantage to using one of the lenders that we work with
Mhm.
there's a lot of advantages. One advantage, you can do it at the office
during your consultation.
during the consultation. There's no hard credit check. What does that mean? They're all soft credit.
Soft pull. So it doesn't affect your credit to find out if you qualify and how much you qualify for. That's part of why we brought on the companies that we did.
Mhm.
There are other companies out there, but they all do a hard inquiry. And let's say you do that 3 times, you just dropped your
You're lowering your
you
score.
just dropped your score, which
I got a funny story about that. A guy working the car lot.
Yeah.
He's like, I ran my credit, and he got his score back. And he's like, I ran it later. It dropped. I ran it again later. And it dropped again.
stop running
The
it, bro.
guy kept running his own credit at the car lot, and lowered his own score.
Stop running it, bro.
Daisy
That's
brought
a
up a
good
good
point,
point from the other side of the room, that you can just go onto the website, like alloutdental.com, click
Click the financing.
financing link, and check right there to
Yeah.
see what you'll qualify for at the office. So a lot of patients do that. Good point. Thanks for bringing that up.
And I think it's important to talk about. Some of them will let you have a co-signer type loan.
Yeah.
Proceed does let you have a loan in somebody else's name. It's not a true co-sign because it won't show up on the patient's credit, but you can include the patient's income as part of the application. I think Lending Club's the same way. They'll let you do a co-signer. They're a true full co-signer. And HFD, one of the things that they told us was, we don't care whose name it's in. And we've had a couple of patients that it's like their boss came in and did HFD financing for them.
Mom or dad
was
willing to step in and help.
Yeah. Cherry, I actually don't know the rules on Cherry. I
Neither.
believe they'll let you. We don't use Cherry super often at our office, but
I'll have to look into it.
you have to look into it.
Okay, let's talk about what they look at. We
Mhm.
know they look at credit score. So somebody said, my credit's perfect, and all they'd ever had is a cell phone. So their credit was like a 7 something,
Yeah.
and they didn't get qualified because credit score is only part of the picture. They
Smaller
look
part
at
of
the
the picture,
depth
right.
and the experience and
The age of it.
and the
Yeah.
number of accounts and the type of accounts and your current balances on your revolving lines of credit.
Right.
So it is a little bit more complex than just score driven. But I think the other thing that's really important they look at is your debt to income ratio. So we've even had patients with really good credit,
Mhm.
but they are also leveraged to the point where they don't really have much room left on their income versus how much they pay in payments every month.
Yeah, I've actually called a Proceed on some of these and been like, hey, they just pulled up their credit on whatever and they're 780. And I had a Proceed rep say, yeah, their debt to income's 80%. I'm like, got it. All right. Thanks, thanks pal.
That changes things.
All right. Well, we'll just talk later.
So just keep in mind that it's not just score driven, although score is really important.
Big deal.
Give some input to that.
Yes.
We talked about how like all the financing companies look at different credit bureaus, so
Mhm.
it's always encouraged to keep pre-qualifying across the board. Like if they don't qualify with us, go to your bank.
Yeah.
follow
So
the
what
point.
Daisy just brought up was not every one of these lending companies uses the same credit reporting bureau or the same internal scoring model. So just because one company says no, the next one might say yes. And we see
their
that
list of requirements are
all the time. So
List of
Daisy's big
requirements
thing
are
is don't give up. So if one says no, don't give up. Now's a good time to just bring this up too. What happens if somebody comes to the office and they apply and they just get declined for everything?
Are we talking about aggressive credit?
Mhm.
Yeah, as I say, we just started. So interestingly enough, this guy reached out to Dr. Emett You had known him
I've
you've
been in
been-
communication with him for like 10 years.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And we were talking about my credit at the office because we were trying to get qualified for a house and all this stuff.
Try to
And
get
I
your
said,
score up.
yeah, I was
a
like,
little.
I need to get my score up. He goes, oh, you should reach out to this guy named Lauren. And I'm like, oh, sure. And he emailed it over to me and I got on, and you pay like $20 and Lauren gives you a free overview.
Analysis session.
Yeah,
right?
analysis of your credit. And then he said, oh, I'd love to do this for your patients. We all went,
Wait, what?
"Ooh, okay." So yeah, if you're getting declined for everything, we kind of talk about the waterfall effect.
Yeah.
Start at the top and work your way all the way down. We have a individual that all he does is credit repair. That's his job, and it costs you $21.70 or something to.
It's so cheap.
It's so cheap, and he gives you a full video. It's a free video that he talks to you about what you can do to improve your credit. I did 2 things and he jumped my score like 70 points in a matter of months. Like it was insane.
And we've had patients that will come in and get declined. They'll go work on their credit, and 6 months later, 8 months later, they come
even
back
a year later
and they get approved.
Yeah.
So if you are in pain, if you're having this situation, like I need this, and you're getting declined, don't give up. Get some credit counseling, get some credit help, and work on your credit profile, because it's totally possible. It might take a little bit of time, but it's totally worth doing. It's pretty cheap energy to put in to get your credit fixed.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Okay. Pros and cons of the one-stop experience. They come in the office.
Yeah.
And they've applied, they get approved. The company pays us directly.
Right.
Most of the time they can just sign on their phone right there sitting in the office, and it's done.
Yep.
That's really convenient. Just full disclosure, one of the bad things for us about these financing companies, they charge us a fee.
Yeah.
So using this 50,000 magical number, if let's say a patient gets approved for $50,000, they don't give us $50,000.
No.
They give us
40, 46,
47, something.
Yeah.
They withhold $1,800 to $3,500.
Yeah, there's a fee
that they bill the office for that fee. So, this it is really convenient for the patient, but it's expensive, just like everything else. I got asked by a patient this week. She said, well, she didn't ask, she pretty much told me, well, the cost of this is going to have to come way down. Yeah. And it blew her mind when I told her, guess what's happening the first day of October? The cost is going up. Yeah. And it's because the costs of doing this are going up. Yeah, the cost of materials, the cost of just doing business in general, payroll, staff, materials, everything, all these costs are always going up. And we've gone for over 2 years now without a price increase.
Well, and my conversation with her after you left, I said, you can find things cheaper. You can go to a car lot and find the cheapest car, and they'll sell it to you as is for a reason.
Yeah, but is it
and she's
better?
Like, oh, and I said, there's always a cheaper option out there, but which would you, what do you want? Do you want the cheapest option or do you want the best option? And she's like, no, I want the best option.
Okay.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. They're just all these little expenses you don't even consider as a patient, but that's one of the cons to us for these offering this nice in-house financing option. It's not in-house, but on-site financing is it's pretty expensive for us to do business with them.
Right.
Okay. So can a patient use a credit card in our office?
Yeah, they can.
How much do we charge them to do that?
The same 3% fee that the credit card company charges us.
Yeah. So we've had people come in and want to run their credit card for $50,000. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's super cool, but there's this big fee that's coming out. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I want to use it to pay for my vacation points or my trip I take.
We've had patients do that where they come in, they're like, oh, I'll pay the fee because I'll have enough points to. One lady went to Europe.
Yeah.
I'm like, I helped you with your teeth.
Take me to Europe.
I'm going to Europe, right? She didn't take me.
I still remember.
She brought us nice things back. But right.
I remember the first time the merchant processing card company called me. They're like, did you really just try to run a credit card for $47,000 or whatever? I don't know, some big number. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, we did. And then like 2 weeks later, did you really just try to run a credit card for? I'm like, yes, we did. And now they don't even call. I'm like, okay.
Well, I think David has a good point. He says it's 100% worth every penny. I paid to have my health and my life back. And that's a bit, I mean, every single time we put somebody into their final teeth, it's like, you changed my life. You gave my life back.
They're in
They're in
tears.
tears.
They're just,
they're cheering that it's a big deal.
so did it cost a couple percents on a credit card? I don't know.
Yeah.
Was the rate a little bit higher? Maybe, but who cares? I don't mean that in like a callous way, but when you get your life back, you're not going to care if you save 2 points on your interest rate.
It's kind of like the soft food diet. When I tell patients, you've been eating like that anyway, so just keep eating like that for 3 months. Like, you can do it. Three more
You've
months.
been on a
You can do
modified
it.
diet
Yeah.
for 5 years.
You
What's
can
another
do
3
Do
months?
3 more months. You can do it.
Okay. Balance transfers. So there's things on credit cards called balance transfers. And most of the time they offer 12 or 24 months with no interest.
Yep.
So you can also utilize balance transfers. And so we have patients that'll just, maybe they don't want to use a financing, or they don't have that option, but they have a bunch of credit cards. You can get pretty creative with credit cards.
Well, we had a patient who did financing. She financed the full amount through, I think, Proceed.
Okay.
And then she went to her credit union and got a debt consolidation loan
And pay
at
it
a
off.
much lower rate, and then paid off the loan, paid off the financing.
Well, and you
And
just,
I was like, that's brilliant.
yeah, that was
They
pretty smart.
wouldn't loan her the money for a medical or dental procedure for reasons we've already talked about. But yeah, I was
But they'll
like,
refinance debt.
oh, yeah.
Turkeys.
She works for Capital One. She knows all the loopholes.
Okay, so but that brings up a good point. You just brought up credit union.
Yeah.
So patients, maybe they don't have an option in the office, but they can go to their own bank. They can go to their own credit union. We have patients that do like a home equity line of credit or a second mortgage. And so if the number one most important thing to you is a low payment amount, the lowest payment we've ever seen was a home equity line of credit.
Yeah.
Because now this thing's financed at, I don't know, 7%
Or
for
even less.
30
yeah.
years or something, or
Right.
15 years. And that's a really low payment amount. So just because one avenue or option isn't working out for you doesn't mean it's a no. It just means you might need to get a little bit more creative. I'm going to bring up a very taboo subject now.
Uh-oh.
I want to talk about grants.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of coupons.
Have you ever in dentistry had a patient successfully have a dental grant of any kind?
I have been in dentistry since I was 18. I am now 32.
Don't tell everybody.
I'm 32. I turned 33 in April. I have never, Daisy, I have never, ever had a patient successfully have a dental grant.
Guys, me neither.
I have heard the myth, the myth, the legend. I've heard it. I've never had
It's
a
always
patient.
my friend, this person at
Yeah.
work, or I saw a thing, you can get a grant that'll pay for that. Please show me
Tell
where.
me where.
Tell me how. We will sign up right now.
Yes.
There is no such thing in our world as a successful option as a dental grant.
Yeah.
None of my colleagues have ever seen one. When I was in the dental school, we used to do this internal little program where patients could get up to $500 toward a denture.
Yeah.
And
But that's not.
even that wasn't a grant. It
Yeah.
was just funds that the school set aside for the most in-need patients.
Yeah.
Guys,
So we did that in pediatrics where we'd have once a month they would do like a pro bono case for somebody.
yeah.
But again, that's not a grant, and we're talking a treatment that cost
$700.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. Yeah.
So yeah, I've never heard of or seen a grant.
Please don't go online and start putting your information in for dental
That's
grants.
what I was going to say.
It's a scam. It's a
Because they just are
100%
selling your
a scam.
information to somebody
Yep.
somewhere, probably
Yep.
not in this country.
Oh,
Okay.
What he said.
Medicaid and Medicare. Let's talk about it.
Speaking of fault, no.
Let's not
Speaking of-
pick on the state or the federal government right now.
They still,
We can't. Okay. I just don't want to call them out.
they don't cover this.
They don't cover it.
They don't. As Medicaid in the state of Nevada has much better coverage for kids. The coverage for adults, we took Medicaid when
I took Medicaid for a long time,
for
you
a long
guys.
time in Nevada for extraction.
For extraction and helping patients get out of pain, and
Yeah.
they would pay $87 for a tooth extraction, and
If
that. And for an adult, they don't care if you have cute teeth. They don't care if you have functioning teeth.
No.
They don't care about any of that. they care that, hey, this person's in pain and has an infection. Let's try to keep them out of the hospital.
So many times we would bill Medicaid for a tooth extraction. They would come back and deny it. And we'd be like, okay,
Why?
we're getting on the phone. Why did you deny it? Well, it wasn't that decayed. I'm like, did you see the x-ray?
Did you talk to the patient?
I wasn't allowed to talk to Medicaid after we took it for about 6 months because I got in trouble calling people names on the phone. I have a temper. Anyway, Medicare does not, if you have a supplemental dental insurance through Medicare, you have to see a Medicare provider. I don't know anyone in Nevada that takes, or in Las Vegas at least, that takes the Medicare supplement plans, because as bad as Medicaid pays, Medicare pays worse.
Right. And it's going to pay for things like potentially maybe an extraction, potentially maybe a denture. It's never going to do anything for implants and cosmetic and this type of procedure.
Again, if you have a supplemental Medicare insurance plan, you're paying for a coupon.
You're a coupon. Okay. Will prices come down, Tiffany?
No, they're not. They're unfortunately they're going to go up. We can blame it on a lot of different reasons, but most importantly, this kind of stuff goes up to kind of separate from everyone that's in the race to the bottom of the bucket, which is what, I was on the phone with a patient last night.
I was going to say, let's talk about your call you had last night.
Last night for a long time. And I got home, I got a message, hey, can you call her? I called her. We were on the phone for 40 minutes. And she saw a prosthodontist and another general dentist here in Vegas. And the prosthodontist told her that this wasn't even possible. And I said, that's funny. We do it every week. So it's kind of fun to do the impossible.
Yeah, I love when a prosthodontist says, oh, that's not possible.
That's not possible.
Tell that to me and the thousands of patients and the 50 other providers doing this every week, you turd.
Yeah, turd.
Call me on the phone.
I'll tell you which prosthodontist it was.
Call me on the phone and I'll teach you how to do it. Yeah. I'll teach you what you just don't know.
What was interesting is she got a quote for an all-on-X from both of these offices. And guess how much it was?
$50,000.
$50,000 without sedation, by the way. $50,000 without sedation. So there's another one that she said, oh yeah, so they're going to send me to this doctor that's going to do this part of the procedure. This doctor's going to do this part of the procedure. Then I still need teeth. And it was $65,000 without
Guys,
sedation.
we see that every day at our office.
Jennifer says, go off, y'all. Yeah. We get a little worked up.
All right. I gotta reel it in a little bit.
Bring it back.
Okay. So guys, we only have 3 minutes left. So first off, we are at All Out Dental in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And we love to do free consultations. You can always get in touch with us at 702-710-9006 or go to alloutdental.com. And we would love to just have you come to the office, take the x-rays, and have this conversation and discuss your unique case with you. Mm-hmm. One thing I want to talk about.
Wait, but if you're not in Vegas.
Okay, what do you do if you're not in Vegas?
You can do a virtual consultation to start.
And we talk to patients across the country
all the time.
Every day.
On Monday, I think we're talking to 4 people that don't live in, because I just checked the schedule earlier.
So if, say that again to the camera, if you're out of state.
If you're out of state, still call the office because we'll do a virtual consultation. Yeah. That way you have a chance to talk about the procedure, understand how it works, start to finish. You get to meet Dr. Emett. He's still going to look in your mouth. I know that's kind of funny, but
like this.
And he'll hold your cheek out of the way and all the things, but it still is a great place to start so that you have all the information to know, okay, what do I need to work on next?
Well, 60% of our patients that we treat in Las Vegas at our office do not live in Nevada.
Yeah.
They come to see us from everywhere you can imagine now. I used to name off the states, but I can't anymore. They're from all over the country. But what Dave just brought up, we have an international airport here, and we have patients all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, my flight in was $65. It was $49.99.
That was the funny, a lady called and she said, oh yeah, I can drive 6 hours to the nearest provider, or I can get on a plane for
less than gas money.
$49. And I'm like,
Vegas is really cheap to fly in and see us because we're trying to get your money for gambling.
It's Vegas. Yeah,
come hang out in Vegas.
Come play in Vegas.
But I think that's one of the reasons patients are willing to fly in to see us is cheap flights and cheap room. Mm-hmm. We put you up in a decent place. It's right by the office, and it's $150 a night. It's really cheap to come in. You don't have to do that. Yeah. You don't have to spend the night 2 nights. You have to spend for your treatment. But we have patients all the time that fly in the morning. We do their records, we do their consultation, we do everything, and they fly out that day, and they didn't miss but one day of work, or it was just on their day off. Okay, we have exactly 45 seconds left. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining me today. This was like super exciting because I didn't know I'd have any help today, and she jumped on and joined me. I saw one more question that said, can I ruin a 3-on-6? So in 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you, yes, you can. Trauma events, getting in a car accident, something hitting your face. It is possible to ruin a 3-on-6, but it is extremely difficult. There's really not a way to ruin a 3-on-6. Okay.
Say whether you're here or whether you're anywhere in the state, call us.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Daisy wants me to say whether you're here or anywhere in the state or the country, just call us. We're happy to help. 702-710-9006. Tiffany, thanks for joining me. Hey, IT crew and all these people, thank you so much for putting this together. You did great today. See you next time.
That was my question, by the way.
That was your